But you were still muted and for a minute? Okay. Okay. Everybody got quiet. That was awesome. We're good? We're live on unmuted. Okay. I'm going to call the Star City Council meeting to order. It's Tuesday, September 6, 2022 at 7 p.m. at the Star City Hall. Can you all please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. And we're going to have our invocation tonight by Mr. David Axe with the very popular Calvary Star Church here. Thanks for joining us tonight.
It is an honor to be here with you guys.
And just pull that microphone towards you a little bit.
Yep.
Thank you.
All right. Yep. Would you bow your heads and pray with me? Father in heaven, we come to you and aware that unless you build the house, the workman labors in vain. Lord, unless you watch over it, the watchman guard in vain. And so, Lord, we ask that your sovereign hand would be upon our time. Lord, that you'd give and govern through this council your wisdom. Lord, that you would unify this city, and Lord, that we would see a prosperous future. So, Lord, we yield this time back to you and ask that you would direct every word that is said in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, sir. Appreciate you. All right. Roll call.
David Hershey.
Here.
Kevin Wheelock.
Here.
Trevor Chadwick.
Here.
Jennifer Salmonson.
Here.
Kevin Nielsen.
Present.
All present and accounted for. So hang on one sec here. Let me get some stuff going. All right. We're going to start the night off with something that's pretty fantastic. So I'm going to have Mr. Gavin Guard come up to the front for me, please. I think we're going to, oh, here we go. Now it's working. We're going to stand up right up here. So I'm going to read something here, okay? So you did a pretty fantastic thing here in the city of Star. So I'm going to read this, guys, so just bear with me here. Gavin Guard joined a family of 6 on July 19th to float the Boise River. Near the end of the float, a woman in the party drifted to an arm of the river where the current was too strong for floating. Her tube tipped over and she went underwater. She was able to grab a branch and yell for help. After about 20 minutes, she was able to get to a small island in the middle of the river. Her son finally found her and tried to help. He made it to the island but lost his shoes in the process. They spotted Gavin about 50 yards away coming up the river with an inner tube. He was able to fight his way through the current and reach the island. Gavin was able to lead both mother and the son to safety. As they were headed back to the car, they heard a woman's voice yelling from the river. They found a woman trying to get to her tube that had become tangled in the trees. Gavin had given his shoes to the mother he had just rescued, so he climbed down the 15-foot slope barefooted. He was able to get both the woman and her tube back to shore. Further down the trail, Gavin and another young man went into the water to save someone that was trying to retrieve a tube and almost went over a waterfall. So Mr. Gavin had a pretty eventful day on July 19th. And we very much appreciate everything you did to help these folks out here in the river. And it's selfless acts like this that make our community strong. And I don't know what your plans are for the future, but I think you work for the TSA. Thank goodness we have good people like you working for the TSA. So we have a certificate here for you and a City of Star pen. It's a certificate of appreciated. Let me start that over. Sorry about that. Certificate of appreciation presented to Gavin Guard, a recognition of your courage, selflessness, and service to others in your community. Signed by myself, presented on September 6, 2022. So here you go, Mr. Gavin. There's this, and here is our City of Star pin right here. And we appreciate you very much. And what's your future hold?
I've always been driven just to go towards military law enforcement. So that's where I hope to kind of go towards. So
he started this early, right? So Zach, if we're looking. There's our chief back there. We got Gavin right here, right? So you want to do a picture, Dana, or anything with him? So you guys you can give him a round of applause for everything he did there. So thank you so much. And I believe the family is here too, right? Yeah, Miss Mary, you want to come up here with? All right. See, this is awesome. This is what community is all about, right? I mean, this is fantastic to have people like this. You want me to put down the microphone when you took that picture? Because I was talking. Light over to you right there. Light up. Okay, sorry. Kevin doesn't want to be in the block, Kevin. Awesome. Thank you, Gavin. Thank you. Yeah, we pushed this one right there. So thank you again, Gavin. That was awesome. And this river could get treacherous at times, especially in the springtime when we have heavy runoff. So we're going to move on to our Constitution Week proclamation. I'm going to read this proclamation, and I think, do we have everybody else? Oh, okay. We have 2 daughters of the American Revolution and 1 child of the children of the American Revolution here tonight. So I'm going to read this, and we'll do some pictures with this as well. Thank you, guys. Appreciate you very much. City of Star Proclamation. Whereas September 17, 2022 marks the 235th anniversary of the drafting of the Constitution of the United States of America by the Constitutional Convention. And whereas it is fitting and proper to accord official recognition to this magnificent document and its memorable anniversary and to the patriotic celebrations which will commemorate the occasion. And whereas Public Law 915 guarantees the issuing of a proclamation each year by the President of the United States of America, designating September 17th through September 23rd as Constitution Week. And now, therefore, I, Trevor A. Chadwick, Mayor of the City of Star, do hereby proclaim the week of September 17th through September 23rd as Constitution Week, and ask our citizens to reaffirm the ideals of the framers of the Constitution had in 1787 by vigilantly protecting the freedoms guaranteed to us through this guardian of our liberties, remembering that lost rights may never be regained. Signed the 6th day of September, 2022. So I can have the daughters of the American Revolution and the children of the American Revolution come up here to the front again. Oh, thank you, Kevin. I forgot to click on that. I got you. You want to present? Take one out. Here, you hold this. That's right. Excellent. You got a white age. Well, I tried. I tried. Glad you're part of that. And I'll just point out that I'm also a son of the American Revolution. So that's pretty cool. All right, so we are going to, sorry. Another son of the, are you a son of the American Revolution? Oh, awesome. That's on the last one here, we have, let me click out of this. We have Elevate Our Heroes Proclamation. Mr. Hershey asked me if he could read it, and if you heard me read the last two, I'd be more than happy to have him read this one.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. I wanted to read this one because I work fire, and I think this is very important. Plus, also a veteran myself. But of course, I get to be you first, one line. All right, the City of Star Proclamation. Whereas we recognize our law enforcement officers, firefighters, EMS, dispatchers, corrections, coroners, chaplains, retired first responders, healthcare workers, clinicians, our military, our veterans, and their family as everyday heroes. And whereas these heroes put themselves in harm's way protecting and serving our communities without hesitation. And whereas they are called to help serve, protect, and save lives. And whereas their selfless work can take a great toll on their physical and mental health. And whereas over the past 4 years, we've seen a devastating upturn in suicides amongst their professions. And whereas we recognize it is paramount for us as a community to surround our first responders, members of the military, our veterans, and their families with love, respect, and the best resources available for all of them to maintain their mental health, wellness, and build resiliency. And whereas it has been shown that improving access to good mental health and wellness resources substantially affects the family's well-being as well as their communities in which they serve. And whereas we honor and pay tribute to those who have been lost in the line of duty or died by suicide, as well as those who continue to keep the spirit of true heroism alive each day by serving as our everyday heroes. Now, therefore, I am Trevor A. Chadwick, Mayor of the City of Star, do hereby proclaim September 11th, 2022 as Elevate Our Everyday Heroes Day, to be signed the 6th of September.
Okay,
Thank you.
and we have Miss Christine Fletcher up here. We'll have her come up here. We'll present this to her as well. And she's also, guess I better get this if we're going up there and I'm going to talk, right? I don't know how many in here are former military or police officers or firefighters in here, but I'm a former military as well. And I think I went to this event last year, which was really awesome. Unfortunately, I won't be there this year. I have another thing, but I think Councilman Wheelock is going to go in my place on there. So I want to present this proclamation to you. And she brought also, where's that packet? Here. Did you put some of these on the back? We're going to get it online. Oh, she's going to get them all so we can pass them out. I believe Jacob's going to post this online as well. She's with Courageous Survival. And it's very important that we recognize that our firefighters, our police, our military folks suffer tremendously, honestly. And these folks are there to help these folks get better and be there for them. So it's great. So thank you so much for that. Do you want to do a picture of Miss Dana on there? Oh, yeah. Sorry. Saturday from. So you go there at 6:30 in the morning.
8 till 5 o'clock.
All sorts of things. So thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Yes. All right. Chief, would you like to come up and? And I just want to say, guys, this is really our first true meeting with our new monitors. Got rid of the old projection equipment, so I hope you can see this stuff a lot better up here.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, council members, city staff, and residents of Star. I'm Chief Zach Kessing, Star Police Department. Before I get in the report, I just want to thank you. That proclamation, I have several friends and close co-workers that have struggled with some things as they see in their career and different things, fire. I appreciate that proclamation. It's not just words to me. It means quite a bit. Having friends that struggle with depression and different things that come on, and one that committed suicide, it goes a long ways for a community to reach out and show that they care. So again, I love the city of Star, and they do a great job. All of you do a great job in showing that. So I appreciate that. Jumping the report here, I know since we started this report in January this year, it's changed quite a bit on where we're trying to find. I think we're getting closer and closer, and I appreciate your patience as you bear with us. It changed one more time, and this is the month of July. I know it's already September, so we'll do August, the next one. We usually do it on the second city council of the month. So this one, I wasn't here for July, and we kind of missed reporting on it. So, but I want to make sure I touched on this one because it did change the way we're looking at these numbers. So I know in the past I've talked about ITS, which is the local system we use to show what kind of crimes are going on in the city of Star. These numbers here are actually NIBRs. So the top half of that, everything above where it says police calls activity, everything above that is actually the crimes that reported in the city of Star. That's the national database. That's the national database showing what crimes were reported in the city of Star. So no longer will it change at the end of the year as ITS kind of phases out. NIBRs used to be 3-4 months behind us. Well, now they're about a week or two behind us. And so they're doing a great job on catching up on that. So because of that, I've talked to the data and analytics team with Ada County Sheriff's Office, and I've switched over to use actually NIBR numbers. So it should be a little more accurate, a little more detailed in what they're looking at. That way, if you go online and you're looking at the crime rate in Star, this will be a lot closer than the past reports have been. So just a few changes here that I want to point out. One of the things you're going to notice is in that offense reported crimes number, the projected range. So in the past, it's always been a solid number. As you see in like 2021, 13.6, and that's 13.6 out of 1,000 that will be victims of a crime, essentially in the city of Star. The reason why it's projected range is because our number is so small, it can jump around quite a bit. And so talking to data analytics, they said, hey, instead of doing an actual number, let's do a range, because they're guessing how many crimes from the date of this report, which would be the end of July, from the end of July to the end of December, how many crimes are going to be committed in the city of Star. Well, obviously that it can only be a guesstimation, can't be an accurate for sure number until that happens. So that's why it kind of gives you a range. So 16.1 to 18.2. It's gone up a little bit from 2021, where it was 13.6. I'm hoping again always to be lower, so I'm hoping it's below that 16.1, but at least that 16.1. But if you look at 2020 and 2019, 2021 was kind of an anomaly with COVID and different things going on that happened there. But so anyways, we're kind of taking a look at that, making sure that we keep the crimes per 1,000. Just so you know, the city of Star is still at the lowest end of crime rate in the area. Some of our sister cities around here is closer to about 80 or 90 per 1,000. So we're looking at 1.6% is about under 2% is what the crime rate in Star, which is phenomenal, but I always want it lower. So I think that's something to point out here. The crimes that occurred in the month of July was 6 person crimes, 6 property crimes, and 4 society crimes. I want to pick into those just a little bit. Not going to take too much time though. NIBRs, the way they count crimes is you can have one case, but if you have 2 victims in that one case, it's actually 2 crimes. So just to point out the person crimes, we actually only had 5 cases of person crimes that were reported as actual crimes in the city of Star. One of them was intimidation, and there's 2 victims to that. So that's why you see 6 as total crimes, but only 5 actual cases that we had. And then the other 4 were simple assaults, which is like a battery, a pushing, or somebody hits somebody else. So not the crime of the century, but something we don't want to happen in the city of Star, obviously. Property crimes, as it states there, we had 6 property crimes. We had 3 petty thefts or grand larcenies. So that's where somebody's stealing from somebody else. We had 1 commercial burg, and in that commercial burg was a vandalism. So again, 1 case, but 2 crimes in that case. And the other one was a vandalism. For society crimes, we had 2 drug paraphernalia. So that's when we pull somebody over that might have a pipe or something in their car or on their person that shows that it's connected to some type of narcotic that they could be using it for. And then we also had 1 other case that was both drug paraphernalia, and they actually had drugs in the vehicle when we pulled over. So again, there's the 4 cases, but 4 crimes, but only 3 cases. So hopefully that kind of makes sense. And it was kind of convoluted there. But So that's the crimes that took place in the month of July. Looking at police calls activity. Now this is off of our CAD system. So this is actually how many calls we went to. Doesn't mean every time we go to a call doesn't mean a crime actually occurred. So these numbers are quite a bit higher because we go to more calls, and once we get there, we find out it's not a crime. It's just something that we're trying to help them out with and solve the problem that's going on there. So one number I always look at is the proactive policing compared to the citizen calls for service. Again, the proactive policing, I like to see this a lot higher than citizen calls for service. Proactive policing is star patrol deputies going out, making traffic stops, talking to people that they're trying to get in front of the crime occurring before it actually occurs. And then the citizen calls for service when somebody actually calls either 911 or non-emergency dispatch asking for a police officer to respond. So again, we're about 3 to 1 on those, which is good. I always will fight for higher on being more proactive, but at least we're sitting at 3 to 1, which is good for this month. We did have a little uptick in crisis mental health situations. It went from 1 last month to 4, but it's still lower than the previous 2 months. And then the property crime calls went from 8 to 19. Which again, 8 was pretty low for the month of June. And that's those crime calls. Again, that's not crimes that occur. It's calls we're going to see if there's been a crime committed. So overall, we did drop in the month of July for crimes from June. We're kind of a downward trend there. I know this is kind of a convoluted report. Anytime you have questions or anybody has concerns about it, they can always call me and ask questions. But I think that's about it, unless the council has any questions for me.
I just want to say thank you for the job you're doing. We enjoy watching these numbers go down, and it's a credit to you and your staff that are watching over us, and we appreciate all you do.
Thank you.
Yeah, and I just real quick question on the, as the all code 3 response times, if it's 2 vehicles, it counts as, like when it says there's 21,
Yes.
does that mean like if 2 vehicles respond to 1 code, it's the same thing as above, right?
Yes. So usually we have 2 deputies on at a time in Star. And so we get quite a few traffic accidents. Actually, Chinden and Star Road is a horrible intersection because we get a lot of crashes on. But if both of our units from Star head to that, it counts as 2. So, and sometimes we have 3 on. There's about an hour in there that we have 3 deputies on. And then if all 3 of them go, that means it counts as 3. So
Very good. Thank you, sir. Any other questions of Chief?
All right.
No,
Thank you.
thank you. Appreciate it. All right, on to item, our city's in good hands, obviously, right? Because it's looking pretty good. On to item 5A, Building Department Report. This is more information, no action to be taken. You kind of see, we've had 56 building permits in the month of August. We do see a big reduction in permits, correct, Ryan? Just because of the nature of what's happening with the higher rates and whatnot. So we're not sure where it's going to finish for the year. On the and the end of the fiscal year is September 30th. So we'll see where we end up for the end of the year. Did you want to talk to yours there, Jacob, or no? Okay, go ahead.
I have a question.
Sure.
We set our budget last year to 500 permits.
Mhm.
And we're crossing that at this point in the year. We are in good shape
Mhm.
to maintain that, I guess. Is that
Correct. Yep.
Thank you.
Yep. And then Mr. Jacob Qualls, our city clerk / city treasurer, provided a report a little bit about his clerk's office for you guys to look at as well. Okay. Okay, item 6, consent agenda.
Mayor Chadwick,
Councilwoman?
I move that we approve the consent agenda consisting of item 6A, the claims approval, item 6B, meeting minute approval, January 11th, 2022, February 1st, 2022, April 5th, 2022, May 3rd, 2022, August 2nd, 2022, and August 16, 2022. And item 6C, the final plats for Cherished Estates #2, Inspirato #1, and Fallbrook #6.
Okay, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second that.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Okay, hearing none, roll call.
Hershey,
Aye.
Wheelock,
Aye.
Salmonson,
Aye.
Nelson.
Aye.
Okay, that motion carries. On to item 7, A, the Proof Pizza Provisional Alcohol Beverage License for Starwood Fire LLC. This is to provisionally approve a beer and wine and liquor by the drink license. And did you want to talk to this one, Jacob, real quick, please?
So this is a business locating in front of Ridley's and just the other side of the tire shop. You're gonna see a lot more of these as they come through because our ordinance doesn't allow me to just administratively approve.
So provisional is for what reason?
Provisional because they do not have their occupancy license. This just allows them to order their alcohol but not sell. So similar to how we had Albertsons last year.
Okay,
It's a bureaucratic fun thing.
any questions of Mr. Jacob?
Mayor Chadwick.
Councilwoman?
I just have one of, regarding the Star Fire District approval letter. Was
Okay.
that submitted?
Was
So,
not submitted?
Just wasn't included. It wasn't checked off in our
I don't-
packet.
Yeah, I have an email from him saying, sorry, I produced the packet a little bit ahead of time. I do have an email from him saying that he suggests provisional approval as well. The final won't happen until they get their final occupancy permit, and then that's just a routine thing that you guys won't have to see that again
Okay,
next year.
Sounds good. Thank you.
any further questions of Mr. Jacob?
I just like to hear pizza.
Yeah, hearing none, I entertain a motion to approve.
Mayor Chadwick.
Councilwoman?
I'll move to approve the provisional alcoholic beverage license for Starwood Fire LLC.
Okay, we have a motion. We have a second.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Hershey,
Aye.
Wheelock,
Aye.
Salmonson,
Aye.
Nielsen.
Aye.
Okay, that motion carries. Thank you. On to item 7B, rescinding the previous decision on Rosti Farms Phase 6. I'm going to have Sean speak to this one here real quick, so you guys understand what's happening.
Mr. Mayor and Council, a while back, you guys approved phase 6 of Rosti Farms at a hearing like this as a consent agenda. The developer has since changed his phasing plan, and it's going to have a new section of the preliminary plat will be phase 6, and so we're rescinding that original approval. They'll resubmit a new application for a new phase 6. We'll bring it back up to you for approval on consent. So we just wanted to make sure that we were leaving a paper trail and not just doing anything without, that the council being aware of that action. Any
So-
questions?
Any questions? I'm sure it generates questions because we've never done this before, but
It's kind of unique.
it's unique. So go ahead, Councilman Nielsen.
Did I hear you say it would come back before us as a consent agenda item or before us?
As a consent agenda item, as a final plat phase 6, but it'll be a new portion of the preliminary plat.
Right. So as Mayor said, and I'm sure you're aware, that is kind of a new procedure.
Yeah.
We generally have an idea of what those plots and phases look like when they come for a public hearing.
Correct.
And I'm not sure that I'm comfortable with this coming back in a consent agenda item.
Okay. Well, it'll be put on the,
So we could just,
then you can pull it off or we can just make it an item for discussion if you want to take a look at it.
Yeah.
The preliminary plat is still being adhered to. It's just they're changing their phase 6 and 7 is what they're doing.
so we can just put it on as an action item.
Put on this
for you
action
guys
item
to
and you
look
guys
at
can look
instead
at
of
it at that
on
time.
consent. So-
Is this also the plot that had some pretty serious elevation freedom licenses? I guess take free reign with the elevations, and we had neighbors complaining about.
No,
This
this
is different.
Rosti Farms is the one off of Highway 16 and Floating Feather.
Got it.
So the staff is not concerned that changing the phasing would affect anything. It's not like they're avoiding open space or amenities or things like that. It's really just a small portion of the residential block that they're just swapping out for a different phase.
And sounds pretty innocuous, but why go through all that trouble?
Yeah, I don't know why. I don't know if we had a reason for why the developer wanted to change the phasing, but rather than just doing administratively, we're bringing it back in front of you. So we're rescinding that original approval of phase 6 and we'll bring back a new phase 6 for you to review.
Thank you.
So,
Councilman Hershey?
yes, thank you. Sean, just, it could be a consent agenda item and we can pull it off and make it an action item if we need to.
Yeah, either way.
And you don't see any problem with this, obviously. You've
No,
dealt with it more than any of us.
Yeah, you'll get a new staff report with the new phasing and the new landscape plan and everything that'll show you exactly what they're proposing for this phase.
I'm fine with that.
Okay, Councilman Wheelock?
Will it come back and show us the changes so that we know what we're even looking at? Perfect.
Okay. Any further discussion? Okay, entertain a motion.
Mr. Mayor,
Councilman Hershey?
I make a motion that we rescind the previous decision on Rossite Farms Phase 6, file number FP-21-22. And the applicant will resubmit at a later time. That doesn't
Okay,
seem.
we have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion, a second. Any further discussion? Okay, hearing none, roll call.
Hershey,
Aye.
Wheelock,
Aye.
Tomlinson,
Aye.
Nielsen.
Okay, that motion carries. Thank you. All right, so we're going to go on to item 7C, the copier lease state contract. I'm going to have Mr. Jacob speak to this as well. He's got more speaking than he knows what to do with today.
So somebody stopped in to just look at our copier and whatever, and I showed it to them, and then they gave me this proposal, which kind of floored me a little bit because we were actually looking for a new copier for upstairs when we move upstairs. This is a much better lease purchase under the state contract than what we purchased before, about 4 or 5 years ago. Yeah, it's a good deal. And it's the state
Oh,
contract.
you want me to go down?
Yeah.
Sorry.
I believe it's for, if I'm not mistaken, $168 a month. And you saw that, right?
$163.93 for 5 years.
And we had budgeted, I think, $268 a month for a new copier.
Jacob, at the end of the 5 years, do we give it back or renew the lease?
At the end of the term, we can purchase it for its fair market value or renew with a new lease.
It's not buy it.
And get an updated one.
Yeah, don't ever buy the printers.
Any questions of Mr. Jacob?
So Jacob, can you explain what our current, how we currently run copies, prints?
So we currently have a Xerox machine. We're paying by the page for the maintenance. This is the same kind of thing here, where we don't have to pay for toner, or I think the only thing that we have to purchase with this new one is the staples that it comes with. If we scan, it's free. We scan in color, it's free. If we print in color, I think it's 0.06 cents. If it's in black and white, it's point, what is it?
006.
Yeah, 0.048. So half a penny versus a little bit more. Yeah, this machine is cheaper than what I paid for in New Meadows.
So basically, this machine is going to go upstairs when the clerk's office is upstairs. The other one is still staying down here for the utilization of our
It's also helpful when we
building
start
department.
to do our actual background processes for fingerprinting with our door-to-door sales, that this might actually work for the FBI for us to be able to do those and send those to them immediately.
Put your
No,
fingers up.
not like that, the actual card. So, but yeah.
Okay. Councilwoman?
So on that sheet right there, it says current maintenance costs. So the monthly volume, which is that per copy rate down at the bottom. So that image charge, are we going to be charged for scans? I don't see that in
We
here.
will not,
anywhere.
we will not be charged for scans. It's only output only,
Okay.
Paper output.
paper output.
And then what happens if we decide we want to break the lease?
So there is within the state contract what's it called? No. Yeah, it's escape clause, but that's not the right term, but a non-appropriation clause within the state contract that allows us to turn around and get out of it. Just turn it over.
Any further questions?
Come on, Jennifer.
Shoot, I'm gonna
Would
make
we,
a,
would we be wise to just get another bid just to compare them?
So I've been in the, I have another bid from another competitor down the road, and it's about $80 more a month.
And this is through, is that one through the state contract also? This one's through the state contract process. Yeah. All right. Any other questions? Okay, hearing none. Entertain a motion.
Mayor Chadwick,
Councilman Nielsen.
I move that we approve the lease of the copier through the state contract.
Okay, we got a motion. Do we have a second?
second.
We have a motion, a second. Any further discussion? Okay, hearing none. Roll call.
Hershey,
Aye.
Wheelock,
Aye.
Salmonson,
I,
Nielsen.
Aye.
All right, thank you. That motion passes. We're going to move on to item 7D, the traffic box art winners. We're going to have Miss Jennifer talk about this. Councilwoman Salmonson, her committee did a great job on working on this project. So which part do you want me up?
sure, you can bring up, well, so we sent out an application. It was on the city website and Facebook for a call for artists. We received 8 responses, 8 entries that met all of the criteria. We had 23 people responded. We asked a variety of people in the community, and we got 23 responses. We asked these people to judge all the artwork on a scale of 1 to 5 for different categories. And so then we tallied up the scores, and we have 2 clear winners. The first one was The Herons, and it is by Beth Jepson, who is a star resident. She received the highest score. And then that one will be placed in front of, if we approve it tonight, it'll be placed at the stoplight traffic box in front of Ridley's. And then the second artwork or piece of artwork that received the highest score, second highest, is called Star Charm. And this one's going to go in front of Steve's Auto. And it was by Belinda Fish, who is also a star resident. And the committee, we reviewed all of these, and the committee would like to recommend to council tonight that we adopt these 2 pieces of artwork to be onto the traffic box, to go into the traffic boxes. We already received the approval by ACHD because the traffic boxes are owned by them. And so I do have this resolution here. It wasn't on our agenda, so a question for Chris is, can we go ahead and adopt this resolution tonight?
It's on our agenda. It's online on the posted agenda.
Oh, it is?
Yes.
Okay,
It's right here.
okay. So we're good?
Yeah.
Okay. So does anyone have any questions?
You want to introduce?
Oh, and yes, Sue Spear, she helped coordinate and organize this project in our audience. She did a fantastic job. She's on the Parks, Art, and Beautification Committee and really did a lot of work. It was a lot of work to organize and coordinate this whole project. So we're really excited to bring this art into the city. So does anybody have questions?
Any questions for Miss Jennifer?
Nope, I love them.
All right, well,
Read your resolution.
okay, this is my first resolution I've done. So I move that we adopt this resolution number to be determined. A resolution of the City of Star adopting the traffic signal box beautification artwork and providing an effective date.
Okay, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second that.
Who got that? Which Kevan or Kevin got it first? Okay, we'll give it to Kevan. Wheelock got the second.
You chose the right side.
We chose the right side.
Literally.
We got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Okay, hearing none, roll call.
Hershey.
Aye.
Wheelock.
Right.
Salmonson.
Aye.
Nielsen.
Aye.
All right, that motion carries. Okay, we're gonna move on to item 8A. Hang on one second, let me get rid of some of these real quick here, guys.
We need to table a couple.
Yeah, we're gonna do that here right now here. So item 8A is the public hearing for the Star River Ranch North subdivision. Where you need to, I need to open it so we can table it indefinitely. No? We
No,
can
just
table it
table it.
indefinitely? Okay, so we need to have a motion to table indefinitely to allow Canyon Highway District 4 time to complete their technical review. And this is gonna get reposted, correct? And renoticed when we get the dates. Okay,
Mr. Mayor,
Councilman Hershey,
I move that we table to indefinitely a public hearing on the Star River Ranch North subdivision until we get the information we need from the Highway Department from Canyon County.
okay, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion?
Mayor Chadwick.
Councilman Nielsen.
We've talked for years about not taking these hearings on without all the information that we need from the important agencies, which they're all important. And I just want to commend you and staff for bringing this to us and recognizing that we don't have that information and yeah, I guess bringing us to us in this condition with a delay until we have all the info we need to make a good decision.
Okay, thank you. Any further comments? Okay, we have a motion second, roll call.
Hershey.
Aye.
Wheelock.
Aye.
Salmonson.
Aye.
Nielsen.
Aye.
Okay, that motion carries. On to item 8B. The Barron Properties Commercial Rezone. We're gonna table this one till September 20th at the applicant's request.
That's easy.
Do you have anything to say to that there, Sean, on why or anything?
Mr. Mayor and Council, the applicant had just requested that we move it to that September 20th date.
Okay. So I entertain a motion.
Mr. Mayor,
Councilman Hershey,
I move that we table the public hearing for the Barron Properties Commercial Rezone to September 20th.
okay, we got a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion, a second. Any further comments? Okay, hearing none, roll call.
Hershey.
Aye.
Salmonson.
Aye.
Oh, Nielsen.
Aye.
Wheelock.
Aye.
Way to mix it up.
Well, yeah, he threw me off for a minute. So that's 8B has been tabled till September 20th, 2022. We'll move on to item 8C. This is the public hearing for the Eddington subdivision. This is out, however, just a very specific piece for that. It's only related to the sidewalk on the back portion. That's the only part that we reconsidered. So we'll have the applicant come up to speak. I will gonna open the public hearing at what time is it? 7:42 and ask the council if they have any ex parte contact or communication regarding this project.
None.
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 Okay, hearing none. We're gonna have Mr. Davis up here to speak first. And I gotta pull up, hang on one sec, sorry. Which one do you want up first?
The big plan.
The big plan right
one that
there?
looks like this.
Okay,
That's first.
okay. And remember, guys, this is specific to only the sidewalks that were behind that, or the houses, as we had them as public and they're requesting to be private.
Is this a
So
pointer?
that is a pointer. Did we ever determine if that works, Ryan? There we go. All right. Okay, the floor is yours, sir.
Okay, thank you, Mayor Chadwick and members of the council. Thanks for reconsidering this item. I asked Land Group, couldn't be here.
Oh, you guys state your name and address, please.
I'm Eric Davis, Retail West Properties, 199 North Capitol Boulevard, Boise. And we're the developer of this project, and we're the developer of Ensley Court as well. And I think some members of Ensley, neighbors of Ensley Court are here tonight.
Okay.
So, and Land Group had been presenting these on my behalf up till now, but they have a hearing tonight in McCall, and I felt kind of personally involved in this one, and I felt like, just let me up the thing and I'll talk about it. So I asked them to do an overview plan just to make sure we're all on base about where the walkway is, and I'm not seeing this. If I can just-
So hang on, do me a favor. I'm gonna have you, because we got people that listen online, I'm gonna have you use the microphone up there when you're talking.
Is this okay?
Yep.
All right. So the pathway that is subject of the discussion, it is behind the townhomes. These townhomes face north, and these townhomes face south. And there's a similar pathway behind those units. And what's unique about this project is that we have public utility easements that go down the property line. And so you can't build on an easement. We can put sidewalks on an easement and low shrubs. But, so we, in planning this project, we had the green space. And we planned in pathways that would be for use by the HOA members to walk their dogs and go back here and circulate. And this easement also serves to, enlarge the backyards of these townhouses. So, I guess if we're oriented here, we've got, I don't know how many, 18 or 14 facing this way and 14 or 8, there's 32 altogether, but half face this way, half face that way. So these back up to Ensley Court here. And this is really not right. Should be up here, up tight. There's no gap. There's no white gap here. So I don't know what's going on there, but so when we were in our last hearing, the motion was made and approved that would be a public access and open to anybody. And we took exception to that. But if you go to the next slide, that will enlarge this just as a sample. So here's just one building, 3 townhomes facing north, public street. Well, it's a private street, but it's basically public. It's private in ACHD's view, but this is open to the public, sidewalks connecting to Center Street. So here's the front side driveway, 2-car garage, and a small patio behind the patio, and then the yard. So if in section to explain this, here's the there's the patio. There might be a 4 or 6 foot fence with a wrought iron fence. And then the easement is 20 feet wide. So the homeowner would actually own 5 feet of the easement, but then 15 feet, well, actually it's 20 feet, would be this easement area, a common lot for the HOA members. And with a 5 foot wide concrete sidewalk meandering through there with little shrubs on each side. So that's the setup. And our thinking was that, we're going to sell these houses, and it's a pretty small backyard. So we wanted to treat this as an amenity for neighbors, and it'll be all maintained by the HOA. All this greenery, everything is all HOA. So, another point. Oh, so the alternative would be to have that be public, and you're living in that house, and you object to something that's going on back there, you really don't have any control. And we would like to have it such that the HOA members can say this is private if they want to. I think it'll be hard to, gauge who's back there, but if anything did come up and you wanted to say, I want police to come in and secure this area on behalf of, it's private property, basically. We'd just like to have that ability. And further, to explain to the homeowner that's going to buy this place that he's got some control over his backyard. Is there any questions on this or?
Any questions of Mr. Eric at this time? I just for clarification, so we approved it as a public access on that pathway. You're asking for it to be private access, and you'll have a 4-foot high wrought iron or similar fence on the backside for visibility, correct?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
That was my concern, is that it ends up being a tunnel between two fences. If we lean to have it be private and have see-through fences, that helps me be for it. In all honesty.
Okay.
So my thought would
Yeah.
be that it would be a wrought iron fence, period,
Uh-huh.
not a vinyl fence that's 4 foot high, because that's still quite high.
Right. We were talking about this with the realtor broker, and he feels strongly the same way.
Yep.
It's just, if people have a problem with blocking people looking into their window, they can put up blinds, or bushes, but we think this has a nice feel and would operate fine.
And for clarification, just real quick, the on the private sidewalks in the front of the units are open to all the public to be able to utilize, is what we
Right.
determined last meeting.
Right, and we have a connection to the
Yep.
subdivision to the north that's underway.
Okay. Any questions of Mr. Davis at this time?
It's just this side, it's just the north side, backside, I'm sorry.
Backside on both, I believe.
Okay,
Backyards.
Just making
all the way
sure.
down. One's south, one's north.
No, I don't have a problem, but I want to hear what the public has to say.
Okay,
Mayor Chadwick,
yes,
could you go back to the overall plan?
Yep.
And can I have that microphone? Maybe shrink that down so you can see the whole thing. So I just want to be clear. What we're talking about would be the sidewalk starting here, going around and ending here, and the sidewalk starting here, going around and ending there.
Right.
Those are the places that we're talking about removing the public right of way.
Can you describe that so a blind person can hear it?
Yeah, so the sidewalk starting on Center Street and running south along the homes until it connects to the main road of the subdivision. And then the sidewalk starting approximately halfway down the main road of the subdivision, going to the back of the homes on the north side and ending where it reconnects, looks like around a green space area. It divides in two areas. Are you talking about both of these? Kind of makes a half circle where it connects to the street around a patch of lawn.
I think
Hey,
it would be
you gotta speak in the microphone.
right to here. I mean, this is pretty much open. This is the park, basically. So it'd just be where it abuts the back of the homes.
All right, so ending with the property line of lot B1, L3.
Is that clear, Mr. Jacob? Clearer? Okay. Thank you. Okay. Any further questions for Mr. Davis? Okay, hearing none. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
And we'll bring up Mr. Evan, is it Fisk? Fisher. Okay. And just state your name and address for the record.
My name is Evan Fisher. I'm at 11817 West Ensley Court. So I'm on the development that is to the north of this one here that we're talking about. So in looking at, I guess I'm here kind of on behalf of everyone that runs along this row right here. We've all talked, we're all part of that HOA. So to kind of put it in a perspective that hopefully everyone can understand, it'd be like if you were in between your house, your backyard and your neighbor's backyard, here's just a walking path for anyone to go through. So I think that the developers have been really good about listening to your guys' recommendations for safety and the chief of police's recommendations about putting a wrought iron fence on the other side. That way it is in that tunnel vision area. But if you can imagine what it would be like to be a member of the HOA that's paying the HOA dues to maintain that space, and then anyone have access to go through there. From a safety standpoint, you know, most people are not, they're not for it. It is a small space. It can be a great opportunity for a small HOA to have, you know, kind of maybe like a space to take your dogs, things like that. But you're also, you know, you're in charge of that. You have a vested interest where people who are just randomly walking by Albertson shouldn't be able just to walk theoretically in your backyard and look and see what they can find along the way. So that's kind of our stance from, you know, the members of the Ensley core community behind it. We'd appreciate you guys just kind of take that into account when you're.
I want to ask you a question, Mr. Fisher, real quick. So is these townhomes going to be part of your HOA as well?
Well, that, as of right now, no, but we are looking to, our HOA is so small and our dues are going up to be maintaining all these areas. So we are responsible for some of these other common areas that are all hopefully going to at one point be able to be brought together as one to help with the costs.
So that's something we want to discuss, I think, because I mean, we're talking about use. If it's just for the community and it gets combined, then we got to make certain that they're covered to be able to utilize that as well. So we'll have you come up and speak to that here in just a minute.
And to be honest, if it became private and we weren't able to access it, at least we know the people who are able to access it are the people who are bought those homes. So the people that are back there have a reasonable, right or expectation to be able to use it versus someone who's just looking to scout backyards and see what they can potentially find through an alleyway, right?
Okay.
So thank you for your
any real quick, any questions for Mr. Fisher?
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, sir. Then I had Mr. John Forcina at 11855 West Ensley Court spoke for this, and he didn't sign up to speak unless you wanted to speak. But if you do, you got to come up here.
Well, I just wanted to.
So stay just for the official part, state your name and address, even though I already
John
said it.
Forcina, and it's 11855 West Ensley Court.
Okay.
So I just wanted to address that some of the councilmen and women might not get a grasp because this isn't the best representation here. I don't know if you mind if I go point at the screen here.
Yep, here, let me give you the microphone here real quick so you can speak to that too. All right, thank you, sir.
So just for example, this proposed walkway here, if this line was our property lines of our backyard, this walkway is against that. There is not this open space there. And for example, my house is right here. Mr. Fisher's house is right here. We do have a vinyl fence on our side. So as he said, if it wasn't a thing where we had access to, that's an all right situation. But to have, as he said, the public walking through there, if we combine HOAs and we're paying to maintain that area and you have whatever going on back there, litter, etc., vandalism, then we are responsible for that. But I just wanted to put into perspective how the actual yards are, because it kind of seems like there's this open space here that there's not. So it'll basically be 20 feet in between our backyard and these new townhouses backyard with that walking space in between.
Okay. Very good. Any questions for Mr. Forcina? Okay, thank you, sir. Appreciate it. All right, Ms. Dana, is anybody online? No, but Chief, did you want to make a comment? He's okay. He's on staff.
He only gets 2 minutes.
Yeah. Chief Zach Hessing, Star Police Department. The only thing just clarification, I missed, and I apologize, but maybe clarify a little bit. When you're talking about the backyard, you're talking about homeowners giving permission for law enforcement to do something. And that's where I didn't catch exactly what he was asking for that. I just wanted clarification on that.
So we'll have him come back and rebut that and come back to talk to that. All right. Thank you. All right. That's all that signed up. So Mr. Davis, do you want to come back up and?
It's good. Yeah, thank you. Good comments. So to explain the white, I'm sitting back there figuring out what happened, and just for sake of display, land group highlighted that white area just to make it pop out. It's not the property line. The white is not the property line. It's just, it's like if you drew a box around it and
Yeah.
said, this is what we're talking about. But the property line is indeed, just as you said, it's right up against the fence. So it's in the right spot. The white stuff is throwing people off. And these townhomes are directed toward, maybe empty nesters, maybe single parents, but it's lock and leave. It's all maintained by the HOA as opposed to Ensley, which is each homeowner has their own yard. HOA maintains the drainage basins and a little park area, but this will be nobody will need a lawnmower here. And that crew, or the landscape crew, would come in and do everything you see that's green. And the HOA dues, I think, will be more. I've been looking at comps, and I think they might be triple what Ensley is because of this intense landscape stuff. And that's all by design. It's based on, it's an amenity, basically, it's a feature that people are looking for, certain people. So, and back on the security, I just is in my mind, we've had problems with other shopping centers where, for instance, there was a skateboard issue at one on Eagle and McMillan. And the police said, look, if you just put up a sign that says no skateboards, then we can come in and enforce that rule. And in this case, the thinking was if the HOA owns, or if it's not public, if it's an HOA prerogative, who goes back there? And if it were being violated and there was a problem and they called the police would come in and say, this is not public property, this is private property. That was what I was talking about. So.
Okay. Any questions of Mr. Davis? Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Hearing no more questions, it's 8:01. I'm going to close the public hearing and go to council deliberation.
Mayor Chadwick.
Yes, sir. Councilman Nielsen.
So I think this request for reconsideration is reasonable. My thoughts are, primarily what the applicant just addressed, that in making this a private sidewalk. Well, number one, the City of Star's goals are to have connectivity through neighborhoods and to other neighborhoods, and we've achieved that. Basically on the main road, with the sidewalks on the main road, they're fully ADA compliant. We've got connectivity to the neighborhood with the north that's going to be being built in the future. And so to maintain that goal of the City of Star connectivity, we don't need these sidewalks to be public. And in making them private, then just as the applicant testified, we're not stepping in and making it so that somebody can go set up shop back there and have a right of way to stay there and do whatever they want, pretty much with impunity. So certainly in favor of this change. I think it preserves everything, including the applicant's private property rights.
Okay, any further comments?
I'm going to make a motion.
Well, I'd like to make a comment. In your motion, I would encourage you to add the condition for the wrought iron fence on the back.
Mayor Chadwick.
Noted. Councilman Nielsen.
I move that we approve the applicant's request for reconsideration and removing the public easement requirement on the sidewalks as noted in the conversation today, and requiring the applicant to use no more than a 4-foot wrought iron see-through fence on those backyards.
Second that.
Well, how about, as long as we have a wrought iron fence, a see-through fence, it could be a 6-footer, I guess, right? If they choose to do 6 or.
So we talked about a 4-foot fence in the hearing.
Well, he said no smaller than 4 foot, I think is what he said in the hearing, I believe. Correct? Yeah.
Yeah, leave it at that. No smaller.
I misunderstood that.
Yeah.
No smaller than 4 foot.
Yeah.
Wrought iron see-through fence. Got it.
Okay.
I second that too.
Okay, we got a motion, we got a second. Any further discussion?
No short.
No smaller
less
than a
than.
4 foot, no less than.
Mayor Chadwick.
Councilwoman?
I would just like to add, you all know how strongly I feel about public pathways. And so when I went back and looked at this and I think it makes sense. You know, this is basically an extension of these townhomes, their backyards. And I don't think it'll impact the overall connectivity vision that we have by making these pathways in this subdivision here, making them private. So I will support it.
Okay. Any further comments? Okay, hearing none, roll call vote.
Hershey,
Aye.
Wheelock,
Aye.
Salmonson,
Aye.
Nielsen.
Aye.
Okay, that motion carries. Thank you. Okay, we are going to move on to item 8D, the executive session. Need to make a motion to go into executive session.
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion that we go into executive session pursuant section 74-206F to communicate with legal counsel for the public agency to discuss the legal ramifications and legal options.
Okay, we got a motion. We have a second.
Second.
We got a motion and second. Roll call.
Hershey,
Aye.
Wheelock,
Aye.
Salmonson,
Aye.
Nielsen.
Aye.
Okay, it's 8:05 and we're moving into executive session. So we can shut that door back there.